What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the 7th episode of From the Lions Cove podcast. I'm your host, Marcelo. Today we have a special guest, my man, Evan Anderson.
What's going on, baby? How we doing?
Dude, pleasure to have you on the podcast, brother.
Thank you for having me, man. It's been a long time coming. Glad that I'm the lucky number 7.
Yeah, hey, like I remember when I first started this, I was texting people like, hey, any athletes that are interested in joining, send me a message. Evan was one of the first people to send me a message. So,
support.
Yeah, so glad to have him on the pod today. To kind of give Evan a little recap. So I met Evan here at John Carroll University, and he's done swimming and diving here as well as played rugby. Some of his times for swimming, he did the 50-yard freestyle, which was 33.81 seconds during the Ohio Athletic Conference. And then the 1-meter dive, which was 6 dives, he scored 114 in this event. Personally, I don't know anything about swimming, so I can't wait to learn about it. And that's why I have Evan here to kind of teach me about it.
Yes,
so, let's just, get into these questions.
Dive into it, quote unquote, baby.
Facts.
So, those scores, first of all, aren't very good. So I got to establish that. I'm not a solidified diver or swimmer. It was more like a one-time wonder kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for those of the people out there who swim, I'm aware that's a bad time. So I just want to establish that first. So it was a good time, though. It was a great experience. I tried something new, and we got really into it.
Yeah.
And it was unique. I mean, I'm sure you played, basketball, baseball, the fun sports, but this was more like flipping and like jumping up, and it was not my thing. But
wow.
We did it though.
Hey, well, listen, I can't wait to hear about it.
Yes, sir.
So, what sports did you play when you were younger, and were there any that you were passionate about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I did a little bit of everything, to be honest. I played soccer, baseball, basketball, football. I did track for a little bit as well when I could. Volleyball on the side, like a club team, like with friends and stuff. But other than that, that's pretty much about it. Picked up golf at one point, but obviously we're not the greatest for that. So honestly, that's all I picked up, and I was really passionate about basketball at one point. It's kind of what strove me, like what I wanted to play in high school and everything, and which I did, which was nice. But I loved baseball at one point. Kind of just fell out, of the game.
Yeah.
Because I love basketball a lot more. So it's kind of what was the first love, basketball. So
yeah. So like you said, you played golf when you were little.
Yeah.
So I mean, have you gotten better like since you were a kid?
Honestly, probably not.
Really?
I mean, so I would play like just go with my grandma, type stuff, and go to the course, swing the club. Probably didn't count my score all the time, but we worked on my game. Had a couple lessons, right? So I was hitting the ball straight. It was going well. But that's something you need to play all the time. So like obviously once I started hitting middle school, high school, I was more dialed in, I'd say, with basketball and everything. So I didn't practice as much, and then the game went down. So
hey, listen though, once like we start working, then we could actually play golf more, and I'm sure on like business trips and like all of that.
Exactly, man. We'd get a little golf trip going, have a good time, have some beer, forget about the score. It'd be a good time. It'd be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I just don't write my score. Like, I think the one time I did, I got like a 114.
I think that's good.
On like 18.
I think that's good.
Dude, it was horrible.
I mean, hey, you told everybody about it, so you gotta be proud of that. So,
hey, true. So, did you play any other sports throughout your time in high school? And like, how did it feel transitioning from playing them as a kid to kind of at the high school level?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I played soccer in the fall, and then I rotated into basketball, and then I did a little track and baseball. One year was track, the other one was baseball the next year. And then my senior year, I wanted to do golf, but COVID, hit, so it wasn't the same. But I'd say the biggest difference was just being competitive. And, you actually have to earn your spot now, right? Like as a kid, everyone gets the trophy. Right. You have a good time. But there comes a point where, you're always told, when you get to varsity, man, it's going to be different. You get to varsity, you got to work for your spot. So I think that was the biggest difference, from childhood sports to high school, for sure.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And then you mentioned that you played basketball with a very talented team. Like I remember when I first met you, like this is one of the first things that you were telling me. So who were some of like those standout players, and how did playing with such skilled athletes make you a better player?
Yeah. So I mean, we had a good team. I think for where I was from, I think we won the league both years, if I'm not mistaken. We had Damari Jones, Elijah Rojas, Dante Garland was up there. I mean, these guys were just knew how to play basketball, right? They're always playing
Yeah.
pickup, but it transitioned very well onto the court. They could jump. I think they're bigger than everybody else too, which definitely helped them. But playing with these competitive athletes helped me in like a lot of ways. It showed, I had to like put my all into something, right? I
Yeah.
couldn't just walk on and be like, okay, pass me the ball, let me try to score. I get locked down pretty easily. So I had some friends try that. They didn't make the team, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you just gotta give it your all and actually put effort in. That's kind of what it taught me, to be honest. And these athletes who are better, I had to work to be at their level. That's kind of what got me there, which was nice.
Wow. So, obviously you're from like the Buffalo area, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, talk about like the talent level of like basketball, like because like I'm I'm born and raised in Cleveland. All I really know is Cleveland basketball. I know some Columbus and like some of that, but like what's it like in like New York?
Yeah, so it's a little different. I'm from like Western New York, Buffalo area, right? Thankfully, I was in the bigger division of school. We were in Double A, so that was like the schools with thousands of kids in there rather than 30 a class, 40. I think I had 400 kids in my graduating class, which isn't overly big, but it's big enough. We're in a big division, so it was very competitive. I'd say at a local level. Then we drive about 2 hours for every game.
Really?
Because we played the bigger schools who were farther away in like deeper Buffalo. So I don't know, man. It was very competitive, I would say, for most of the time. If you play like a local team, we kind of beat them typically because we were the best local team per se.
Yeah.
But it was very competitive. Football was competitive as well. Obviously, New York's not the same as Texas, even Ohio for certain things, because we can't go all year round. So I think that kind of affected some stuff.
Right.
But we had a lot of competition, a lot of good athletes, especially for the area, I'd say, for at least. So
wow. So like those players that you played with, did they go on to any like big colleges?
Yeah. So I mean, between basketball and football, I think there's a couple guys who got D1 like offers, I think, for football, but they pursued D2. So Mercyhurst University.
Yeah.
So I have a couple friends who played there, wide receiver and running back. And then basketball, I think a couple guys went D3 and D2, but they kind of just didn't like the college aspect, and came back home and hooped at the community college. So
yeah,
I mean the opportunity was there. Obviously, we had one guy actually go to Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah. So
for basketball.
For basketball, and he went to I think Wichita State after, which is pretty cool. But he was a couple years older than me. So I mean, we had some athletes. Actually, there's one on the Cleveland Browns, Steven Carlson. He's like a tight end. So he was probably 4 or 5 years older than me, but he's on the team, and that's kind of what happened. So it's pretty cool actually. So we got a couple guys from the hometown making it big, so which is nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, listen, you try a lot of new things.
Yeah.
So how did you end up choosing John Carroll University, and what led you to walk on to the swim team?
Wow. Well, honestly, COVID started, right? So I was at community college, rent-free, cheap. I was just kind of getting my classes in, right? The basics. Yeah. Why not do it there when I would be just stuck in a dorm here? At least that's what I thought, right?
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to get into business, so I was looking for a business school. I wanted to get out of Buffalo, right? So, but I didn't want to go too far, right? Like I didn't want to go to Florida where I can't go back home. So it kind of just led me looking to Ohio, and I have a couple friends that were at John Carroll, fortunately enough. They recommended it, came, checked it out, stayed the night a couple times, and just fell in love with the campus, and that's kind of how we ended up here. But being a transfer student, though, I knew I wanted to meet people, but I wasn't sure on how to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I think sports gives you that opportunity, and that's kind of really why I joined the dive-in swim team. However, I had friends on the team already. So it made it kind of easy, like the transition. And I was like, well, let's try something new. Obviously, I do a lot of things, and let's give it a shot. At first, I thought it was kind of funny. My parents didn't believe me, believe it or not. They're like the club diving team. We're just doing it for fun. I was like, no, Mom, like the real team. They're like, what, really? So I had to send like pictures and videos for them to actually believe me. But that's kind of how I ended up on the team and just went from there. So. It was a lot of fun. So
well, listen, I mean, props to you because being like a walk on, like just like showing up, like the team's already kind of like established, but like you're also like fighting for like a spot.
Right.
Like, I mean, and to even make the team, like that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
Going from transfer student to coming to a new school, new environment, away from home, and then joining a team. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well,
You should definitely be proud of yourself for that.
Thank you. It was first it was laughable, but we made the team and we were diving. We're in the meets, so
Yeah.
you can't laugh too much after that. So.
Yeah, and like plus like doing it like for fun. Like you're not like, all right, like I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna take it so serious. Like you did it because you're like, hey, let me try something new, and it ended up working out for you.
Exactly. And I like being in the pool, so that helped.
Yeah.
But after being in the pool every day, your skin gets a little dry. So that's what I didn't like about it. I'll be honest.
Wow.
But it was fun.
See, I haven't been swimming in like forever. Like that's like the one thing that I wish Ohio was kind of nicer. Just like even like at times like this, because it's like, man, I would just love to go swimming right now.
Right.
Obviously, like there's like the open swim and stuff, but
it's not the same.
It's not the same as being outside. Yeah.
Exactly. So, being from Buffalo and then being in Cleveland, the weather doesn't really permit it. I'd say around this time, unfortunately. But
I know.
Yeah, man.
So, what is a typical day in the life of a D3 swimmer?
Wow. So, I mean, my practices were a little different from a swimmer since I was the diver. I know the swimmers wake up, 5, 6 a.m. practice for 2 hours with lift after. I'm really dedicated to the sport. Fortunately enough, being a diver, on the other hand, it's you spend a little less time in the pool. So, honestly, I know it's changed a little bit, but you had about, I'd say, in a 2 to 3 hour window, twice a day to come in and practice for about an hour, to be honest. So I'd come after class, change, get on the board. You'd warm up with some jumps, some just basic fall-ins, and then you'd work on 2, 3 dives for the day, whatever you were, moving on to, because you need 6 dives to compete in 11 and other meets as well. So you'd start with the basics and then mechanicals and, and start getting more complex. So I would say that's the basic day of a diver. And then Saturdays you would have a meet or a practice, depending on, what was happening. So,
wow. And then like on top of that, you have to balance like school and all of that. And I'm assuming you had like team meetings and like team dinners and stuff.
So there was a couple team dinners you'd go to, at someone's house. It was always fun. You do fundraisers, obviously. The Day of Giving, obviously at John Carroll, that's big. So we did that a couple times. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't overly time committing, which was nice, but it was enough where it was like, okay, I'm part of a team, a real team, it's not just like a club sport per se.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed every bit of it. I think my back got cut up a couple times from hitting the water the wrong way or falling off the board, but it was trial and error, and now we're here, so got the experience.
Right. Good. So how intense were like these like swim or like diving meets?
Man.
And how did you manage to stay calm before diving in the pool, especially from all like high up?
Right.
I'm sure there's people there.
Yeah.
People watching you, people from other teams watching you.
I mean, that's a good question. So honestly, I was never really at a swim meet before I came here. Maybe like once in high school, but that's high school, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what to expect. And let me tell you, man, it's electric, dude. So you got 30, 40 people on the team. You got another team there. Then you got, parents in the stands. They're very dedicated, I'd say, as parents for like a sport.
Yeah.
I know parents that are very into like their sons and daughters' basketball games, football, whatever the sport is, but swim parents, man, they travel. They were there with signs and everything. Wow. So it was electric. You start off with a chant before the blood gets going. So it was exciting, and everyone's on the side basically watching everyone swim.
Yeah.
It's your turn, you step up. You have people hyping you up and clapping, especially if you win. I think there's a clap they do here when you win your meet. You do something like, I won't do it now because I got the mic, but it's pretty cool. So it's electric, and obviously it's, it echoes kind of. So it's pretty loud. So that was always exciting. And then when you dive, you got to get locked in, right? I did it for fun, but people would watch you in the well. So it's just you. It's not 5 guys in different lanes, going back and forth. It's, okay, this guy's walking down the board. He's going to jump. Everyone's watching you. So kind of got to zone out, man. Just look straight ahead like this and just lock in, to be honest. But it was good. It was a good time, and surprisingly, I did it. So
yeah. So like when you would I guess dive.
Yeah.
Would you do like flips, or would you do kind of like a straight dive, or
a little bit of everything, man? So
really,
Obviously, like I said, I'm not the greatest diver. I don't
Yeah.
think my body is meant to be a diver, rotating and everything. But you would have like a front dive, just a normal one. You'd pop up and go right in the water. You do a front flip.
Wow.
So that was something to try. Then you do like a back flip, a twist inward, so you're jumping into the board almost. It's kind of scary at times, to be honest. You just got to trust yourself, your body, and the board, because the board naturally pushes you out. So
Yeah.
ideally, you'd like to jump straight up and you still go out. So
Wow.
it was pretty cool. But
Yeah,
that's what we did.
but like the one thing that always like shocks me like during the like I guess like when I'm watching like the Olympics
Right.
is how like the board like barely like moves.
Yeah.
So like is it pretty like wobbly like when you're out there?
So actually, there's like a wheel you can move on the side to make it more wobbly or
Really?
more, I guess up and down per
Mhm.
se, or you can make it more stiff. I was someone who liked it more stiff because I didn't have great balance. But you would see some of these dudes come in, turn it so it can just bend, and they would literally, when they jump, the board would touch the water as they're like taking off. So like it was honestly crazy if you ask me. So.
Jeez.
But yeah, so you can have it stiff, you can have it wobbly, kind of whatever your preference was.
Okay.
Obviously, me myself can't really jump, so I think it was best. It was more stiff. It helped me out a little bit more. So
Wow.
yeah.
So like is doing a front flip like is doing a flip like in the air like you have plenty of time to like react. Is it easier because like I mean I just can't do a flip at all. Like
Sure.
I can't. Even if I tried, probably couldn't.
So funny enough, you asked that question. I actually couldn't flip on land ever in my life.
Yeah.
So you could do like a somersault, but I've never done like a front flip. So it was like a process of learning how to do it, and you basically got to swing your arms and you just got to rotate. So if you're good and you do gymnastics or have the past of flipping, yeah, I would say it would be easy.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a struggle at first, but it's based on how high you go, right? If you go
Yeah.
high up, you're going to have plenty of time to rotate. You'll be just fine. But if you kind of just jump out, you're going to kind of going into the water, right? So
Yeah.
it's a little different. So it's all relative to how high you would jump and if you jumped out or straight up, basically. So
Wow.
yeah.
See, swimming I have no clue. I don't know, times. I mean like I know like the smaller like the time the better.
Right.
But like, that's like pretty much it. So, I'm glad that, you've provided me with some insight on it.
Sir. Yes, sir. Always, man. I'm always happy to. And going back to that time you mentioned in the beginning, that 33,
Yeah.
dude, that's terrible. I want to establish that. So it was more like for fun.
Yeah.
And that's probably double what most people do. I recall I was at the wall and then coming back,
Yeah.
I literally just stopped and was hanging onto the wall. And
No way.
Everyone's finishing. I'm like, oh no, I got to finish.
Wow.
So it was a struggle, but it was a good time. So,
Hey.
yeah.
Hey, listen, I mean, as long as you had fun with it,
That's all
it's all that matters. And plus, you have a great memory to look back on, too.
Exactly. Some photos too, and
Yeah.
it was a good time. So.
Yeah. So, do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions that you followed to get in the zone?
Wow. For swimming or just in general?
You know what? Let's go in general. And then actually do one in general, do one swimming.
All right, say less. So I think in general, like I would just play music, right? I mean, I'm a Drake and like Lil Baby fan, Lil Durkio. So I would lock in, put those boys on, and just kind of jam and get myself just pumped for whatever the sport may be. Go to the bathroom before the game. The pregame dookie, right? So I dropped that one. So every athlete knows about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Some truth right there. But I think for swimming and diving, I kind of just go in the corner and zone in, like lock in. I couldn't be, people couldn't be talking to me. I think that was something that was different for that. Kind of want to focus up, and when it was my time, I was ready to go. And then after, I talked to people, obviously. But that was the difference in like other sports. I would like talk to people before the game, have some fun. But I think swimming kind of locked a little bit, dialed in a little bit more, to say the least. So,
wow.
Yeah. So.
But is Drake one?
Drake's one.
Yeah.
He's a go. You got.
Yeah.
He's versatile. People are canceling Drake here and there, but you're still listening to his music, dog.
Yeah.
Every time you go out to the farm, not the farm, but just
the
downtown.
Farm, no chance.
Yeah, but just downtown, you're gonna hear Drake. So.
Yeah, And plus, Drake, for example, I think he's like the most streamed rapper on Spotify.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think he's had like a streak
Forever.
So hey,
Yeah.
and Drake just puts out like the best music. Even like listening to it as like a kid.
Yeah, you're gonna vibe, man. It's a jam, and hopefully Drake, you're gonna watch this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm shouting you out right now, bro. OVO.
Yeah, hopefully
So,
Drake is watching this. I'm praying.
I think he is. He'll see it.
But so, how was transitioning from swimming to rugby? Obviously, you did swimming your junior year,
Yeah.
and then now you're playing rugby.
Yeah, well, you caught me there, man. So it was a little different. I enjoyed the swimming, but I just knew it wasn't for me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
My lower back started to hurt from all the flips, and I was like, it's just not my sport. Actually, I went to Don, the trainer, and he was like, dude, you're not flexible at all.
Wow.
Yeah, you're gonna be screwed when you're older. I was like, appreciate it, boss. So I knew right then and there, get out.
Yeah.
Finish the season off strong, but just not for me. And I just always like playing, Thanksgiving tackle football, right?
Yeah.
And rugby that's what I thought it was, and that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Just wear a mouth guard and go hit people, bro. If you get the ball, go, and if you see someone with the ball, hit them. That's the best way to put it. So
wow.
That's kind of why I transitioned over to it, because I like the running part, the physicality. It's more ground and pound, like actual football, not just jumping in the well. And I think that's something I missed. And they're a good team, right? So it was kind of fun meeting these new guys, playing with them. Had a great season. I enjoyed every bit of it. And I'd honestly recommend you play as well, Marcelo.
No chance, bro.
How come?
Come on.
Look at you, man. You're ox, dude.
Yeah, but like I'm like long, but man, I can't tackle anyone.
Well, you're not gonna have to. You're gonna get the ball and go by everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I could get the ball. Like, listen, like I played football for like 3 years.
All right.
I think in total I've had like 4 carries for positive yards, but it's been like 1 yard, 7 yards, like.
Right, but so positive though, right?
Yeah, like listen, it is, but I can't get hurt for basketball though.
That's fair.
Still gotta win an I am championship, bro.
I'm right there with you, man. We're gonna do it this year, but rugby actually is after that, so. Just gonna throw that out there. You can win the IM chip and then,
maybe
come play some rugby. So we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Let it
so
go.
What inspired you to try something so different from your past sport?
Wow, man, I honestly don't know. I just saw a couple guys I knew on the team. They're like, hey, man, come over, give it a try. I was like, why not, right? I live by this motto: be a yes man.
Yeah.
So if you have an opportunity to do something new, and there's really nothing holding you back, why not do it, right? Because I'm never going to play rugby again as soon as I graduate, right? So why not say yes now? What would I be doing from 4 to 6 anyways? Doing homework? Like, I can do that later, right?
Yeah.
Or you're not even do it anyways. Yeah. So I think that's kind of what made me want to do it. I said, why not? And I knew I would regret not trying it at least in the future. So it's kind of what led me to do it. I thought it was cool. And I didn't really understand it, but I was like, I at least like to learn, right?
Yeah.
If I watch it on TV, I'm like, why are they throwing it backwards? But now I know. So, right? So that's kind of what led me to rugby. And it just kind of worked out in my favor, which is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously we played in, like, some turkey bowls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say rugby is essentially the same thing as a turkey bowl? Because you're hitting with no pads, like, going, like, right at the other team, like.
Yes, sir. I'd say so. It's slightly more organized, I'd say. But at the end of the day, it's like that. You put a mouth guard on, and that's it, man. Get out there, hit some people. And it's pretty cool because there's no, like, blocking. So this big dude can't come out of nowhere and just kill you, right?
Yeah.
That's not how it works. So that's kind of what it's like. And I'd say it's relatable to, like, a turkey bowl for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the hardest part about swimming and the hardest part about rugby?
Wow. Good question. So I'll start with rugby because I just started 2 days ago and played. I'd say the hardest part about rugby would be the mental aspect of committing your body and putting it on the line.
Yeah.
If you're gonna half-ass something in rugby, you're gonna get hurt, right? That's the weird part. If you see a big guy coming at you, you're gonna want to, like, shy away. But if you do that, that's how you get hurt. I think committing, having that mentality, like, oh, I'm gonna go hit him and I'm gonna be the one to win. I think that's the hardest part because I've seen people not have that and that's where they get hurt, mess up, and they just screw up and get out of the game. So I think having the mentality of full speed at all times, I think that's probably the hardest part for people to digest about rugby for sure. At least of what I've seen,
Yeah.
And then swimming, man, I think being scared to fail, I think that's probably the hardest part, because when you mess up on a dive, which happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
You're hitting your back flat on the water, right? So it's down and your back's red. You're not feeling good. You're like, do I really want to do it? And do it again. Happens again, and you're just like, you want to say you can't, but eventually you get it. But I think that's probably the hardest part, is just actually getting the dive.
Yeah, and almost like it almost seems like in like both sports, like you're putting your body on like the line no matter what.
Literally, right? I mean, you could say that about almost every sport. Obviously.
Yeah, true.
right. Every sport has its physicality for sure. But diving, if you don't, come out of your tuck, your flip at the right time, your back hit in the water. It's not the funnest thing in the world. And obviously, rugby, you can get hurt pretty easily if you're not doing the things the right way.
Yeah.
If you're leading with your head, probably get concussed, right?
Yeah.
So it's just know where you're at, just be safe and do the sport the right way. I'd say it's the biggest takeaway for both of those things, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So overall, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from competing in basketball, swimming, and rugby, and how has that impacted your life beyond sports?
Wow, that's a good question. Biggest lesson, I'd say, give it your all, right? Like, if you're gonna do something, don't half-ass it. Like, you're gonna look lazy. People are gonna look better than you. Probably won't enjoy it as much. But give it your all. If you're gonna do something, you want to finish it through as well. I think that's something I learned. I learned that from my dad. Like, I started swim, right, and dive. At first I'm like, after a month, wasn't sure about it, right? But I told myself, let's finish it through, and look what happened, right? I had fun, met more people, had a great time. And same with rugby, you get the bumps, the bruises. But I'm like, dude, finish it through, man. That's what we did, and there's no regret with that. And honestly, I took that to school, work, whatever job, project I pick up, finish it through. I think that's the biggest thing I've taken away from every sport I've played is, give it your all and see the progress you make, and really just finish it. Don't quit. So that's in life too. So,
dude, for real, you just gotta keep on going, especially when it gets hard, or if you don't want to do something, hey, still just give it like your best, try your best, and that's really all you can do.
Right, and I mean, and after that, you'll feel better about yourself, and you look back and like, wow, like I didn't want to do this, and I went through it, right, and here I am. What happened? Only good stuff, pretty much, right?
Right.
So, that I think that's the best piece of advice I could give, and I got from this sports.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, well, we have an intramural basketball championship to win,
sir.
both in co-ed and in rec. So, hopefully we can do that.
Oh, we will do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A little Shaq and Kobe action. Wade Brown, obviously you're Brown though, the GOAT.
Dang.
Pour honey on him, but
Stop. Yeah. He has like that new like Hennessy bottle, right? Or something.
Yeah, I saw someone have it 2 weeks ago. I had a little sip.
Really?
Yeah, I felt like I could score 40,000 points.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm excited for this chip coming.
Yeah.
I get the T-shirt for sure. No way around it. So
yeah.
We're
real.
We're lit. I need another 60 bomb for you though. So
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if I still have it in me, but later tonight I might have to go get some shots up or go practice like some free throws or something. Even
some form shooting,
Yeah, even if it's for like 10 minutes, 10 to 15.
Yeah.
It's all right. Got to get back in like the groove.
Gotta get at it, man.
Yeah, gotta get all that rust off.
Yes, sir.
So this is the quote of the episode. For those that don't know, quote of the episode is where I give you a quote. You just talk about what it means to you.
Okay.
And then you say a quote that you live by every single day.
Wow. Okay.
So obviously, Evan, huge Bills fan.
Yes, sir.
Loves Josh Allen. Loves the squad. So Josh Allen said, "If you didn't want to believe in me, that's okay, because I'll make a believer out of you."
I like that.
So what does that mean to you?
I mean, hey, that means he believes in himself, right? I think that's huge for every sport in life. You gotta believe in yourself, and you can't listen to the haters, man. Block them out, right? And once you make it to the top, they're gonna believe in you then, but by then it's too late because you only need yourself at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So and that's exactly what it means because he was overlooked to say the least.
Yeah.
And I mean, now look at him. He's the best quarterback in the NFL, and he's gonna win the Super Bowl this year, like, right? You know, so
Hey, maybe pretty good chance.
I think good chance. You
Yeah.
know, I think the Saints got it next year. Fingers
Yeah,
crossed. Fingers
yeah,
crossed,
we're all done this year.
Rip, but yeah. So I'd say that's what it kind of means to me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know if I have a quote prepared. I mean, like I said, be a yes man.
Yeah,
that's something.
That's definitely like your quote.
Yeah, live by. You know, and whatever happens in life, you know, keep your chin up, right? Don't let your crown slip, right?
Yeah.
Don't quote that. So yeah, stay positive, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing I could say. So,
yeah, Evan,
sure.
he's definitely a yes man. Definitely loves to do anything. You know, if you're like, hey, come over, come play some Fortnite. He's like, all right, bet.
We're gonna take the Doves,
Or
baby, right?
yeah, or if he's like, hey, like, well, let's just go hoop. He's like, bet. So Evan is always saying yes to things, trying out new things, and Evan's Yankees are also in the World Series.
Throw it up here for the crowd. You know? Mad respect for the Yanks.
Yeah. I was at Game 3 and Game 5. Game 3, one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Probably one of the greatest games in history.
I would say, yeah.
And me and my boy Dom, shout out Dom, got on MLB TikTok. So that was insane. Couldn't believe that. And then, Game 5, obviously Soto sent you guys to the World Series. I mean, listen, definitely one of the best players in baseball.
100%.
I mean, come on.
You know, Cleveland, you know, they did their best, and you gotta give them props. Props are due. But big market team, I think, just came in, too much firepower, and they're going to the series. But it's gonna be tough, right? And Dodgers, man, they're a good team. So
I mean,
we'll
that's going to be a great World Series to watch. I mean, like, even though it pains me because, man, like, I'll never forget when when the Knicks won Game 1 of the NBA playoffs. I think it was like in 2022 versus the Cavs, and like the Knicks fans were just like chanting and all of that, and like kind of like heckling us Cavs fans, and we were at home.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like even like there was a ton of Yankees fans at like the games. So you know the New York fan base is very strong, but man, you guys definitely talk the most trash for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Those mafias out there, they're very nice, but when it comes to football, you know, the game, they might be a little mean, a little rough. But at the end of the day, they're a good place to be, a good family. So go Bills as well. Gotta shout them out. Go Yanks, and let's get a dub.
Yeah,
best way to put it.
Well, that'll do it for this podcast, Evan. Thank you again, my man, for joining the podcast.
I appreciate it.
So Evan, always trying new things. So always take advantage of the opportunity out there, especially when it presents itself. And, just keep on putting your head down, keep on grinding, and good things will happen. But this was episode 7. Episode 8 will be out next Tuesday. That's with a former coach of mine, Coach Nick Sharia, great coach, and definitely very knowledgeable about the basketball side of sports as well as the mental side. And I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully you are too. Make sure to follow the Instagram FTLC podcast. And Evan will be on there tomorrow. And make sure you like, share, comment. Truly appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
This is